Gentlemates, one of the biggest organisations in competitive Fortnite, just let go of half of their players. I'm going to talk about the reasons for that in this video. I also want to discuss yesterday's evaluation cup. Let's get straight into it. So before we discuss which players have left Gentlemates, let's talk about yesterday's evaluation cup. It didn't end up being the most stacked tournament, but it was still an entertaining watch, and we did have 4 separate teams win games. The first game was won by Cringe and Velo. If you watch my videos, you'll know I always talk about these guys because they're always featuring on the leaderboards, whether that's on EU or NA Central, because they're both very good on high ping. You can definitely expect to see a lot more from these players in 2026, especially if they stick together. Game 2 was won by Veno and Chino, and as I always say about these guys, if they can just get consistent, they'll be one of the best teams in the world. When it's their day, they do very well, as evidenced by yesterday's game win, but sometimes they just simply don't show up. They're very capable of placing at the top of leaderboards already, and I think it's only a matter of time before they'll do that more consistently. Game 3 was won by the new team of Focus and Thomas HD. It's not 100% as to whether this duo is permanent. Obviously, Thomas was playing with Queasy before Queasy went to NA Central, more on that later. It's possible that Thomas is only playing with Focus until Queasy gets back. We've seen Focus has been playing with a lot of different people lately, but he's not managed to find someone to stick with. My guess is that it depends on the performance in the Divisional Cup this weekend as to whether this duo sticks together. Game 4 was won by the Russian duo of Azatgo and iFrozy. Credit to them for a good result. We also had an off-spawn fight that didn't quite go the way most people would have predicted. Shark and Teeny were fighting Haijo and Kaito at Supernova Academy again. If you don't know, Shark and Teeny dominated them in the Divisional Cup last weekend, not losing a single time off spawn. In yesterday's finals though, we had a bit of a role reversal, with Haijo and Kaito winning 3-1. With how good Shark and Teeny have looked lately, I have to say this is a bit of a surprise. We'll see if both teams can qualify for the Divisional Cup finals on Saturday, so hopefully we can see a repeat of the spawn fight. Taking a quick look at the elimination stats, we can see 2 players are in joint first place with 17 kills each. We've got Chino and we've also got Khan, someone who I've been noticing a lot more on the leaderboard since Globals has ended. Just before I discuss the Gentlemate situation, let's go over which EU teams qualified for the NA Central evaluation finals. We had Thomas and Hellfire make it, as well as Oscu and Nova and Zara and Zangi. Unfortunately, none of them could get a win. We also had Queasy and Curly playing their first evaluation cup since Queasy moved to NA Central. They unfortunately couldn't qualify for the finals. Now let's discuss Gentlemates and why so many players left the org yesterday. So if you didn't see, Gentlemates announced that they're parting ways with a lot of the people on their roster. Ketson, who was the coach, is leaving, and in terms of players, we had Ping, Podosai, Swizzy, Xweez and Malabuka all leaving the org. We had some interesting insight from Nikov about the transfer process. He stated that financially the organisation had to choose one player between Malabuka and Marius. They ended up picking Marius, so unfortunately there was no room for Malabuka to stay. Poyo has accepted a contract extension, and I think this means we can see more NA players joining Gentlemates into 2026. We can see here that Vanya's contract was extended before Globals. If you watched any of the tournament, you'll know how much the Gentlemate fans like Vanya, so it's no surprise that they're keeping him. It might seem a surprise that Swizzy has left the org, as he is the world champion, but we've known for a few weeks that there's been issues with the contract renegotiations. Gentlemates are pretty firm with their salaries. They don't just give out high wages for the sake of it, so for that reason Swizzy has left. Luckily for fans of the org, Murstache, their other world champion, has agreed to stay, as has Akira. As you can see here, Gentlemates wanted to keep a French player. I have to say I'm surprised they didn't keep more than just Akira. I thought Podosai might have been re-signed as well. They've got one French player for now, wouldn't be surprised if they sign another one in 2026. And finally, we can see that Ping didn't receive a contract extension, but he'll be a good pickup for another organisation. For me, it feels like Gentlemates are trying to create a smaller, more intimate player roster. They obviously had a lot of pros on their books going into Globals. It feels like they're trying to cut down their numbers so that they can focus their attention more on the players they do have and better build their stories. Not a huge amount of team updates to bring you today. We do have the news that Savage has gone to Mexico on holiday for 10 days, so that means Scroll will probably be looking for a temporary new duo. We'll see who that is tonight in the Divisional Cup. Looking ahead to the rest of the week, we've got the Divisional Cup opened tonight and tomorrow night, with the finals on Saturday night. Let me know in the comments what you thought about the Gentlemate situation. Do you think they were right to let go of the players, or do you think some of them deserved another chance? Thank you very much for watching the video. See you in the next one.